Hey, what's going on, folks? Bienvenue. My name is Wade, and this is Sabine River Valley. So, as you can see, I have a new toy sitting behind me. Uh, Not really a toy, but I mean, I hope to have some fun with it. Um, I've been looking for a lawnmower on Facebook Marketplace, something used, something that we could use to mow the kind of the more lawn area around our house. We've got a uh, septic system out there, and I don't need to be driving the large tractor over that area, but I need to keep it clean. So I was looking for something, maybe a zero turn or some type of riding lawnmower, and I really was interested in getting. I wasn't interested in getting some cheap zero turn. Um, I can't afford anything new, but I didn't want to go buy something from the big box store and have it work for a year and then, not work anymore. I would have liked to had a more professional unit, even if it was used. So if someone had put a bunch of hours on a professional zero turn and then sold it, I would have done that. And just done any kind of maintenance on it that it needed, done the upkeep and kept it. And maybe one day, I don't know, but that's the only way I'd really probably do a zero turn. I would trust those more than more inexpensive, the more inexpensive ones. So I couldn't find anything that I liked. There's a couple of brands that I really like. That there's one specific that interests me because of the front suspension on it, and which that's a Ferris. But a few months ago, probably a year ago, there was one that came up on Facebook Marketplace in my area, and I couldn't do it then. I couldn't justify it then, and I missed that. So that kind of stunk. But anyway, so I got to looking, and I started seeing some small tractors with mowers on them, and I came across this one that was over in Longview. It's a Kubota L185DT, and yes, it's a Kubota, and I give Kubota and Deere a hard time, but this is one of the older ones. This one, we believe it's a 1981. I'm not 100% sure about that, but somewhere around 81. Um, and it is a little 17 horsepower tractor. It is four-wheel drive, or dual traction, which is what the DT stands for. These were designed for over in the Asian market. These were designed for like rice paddies and stuff. So while over here in the US, there wasn't a big push for four-wheel drive back in the day, in the Asian market, they were doing lots of rice paddies, stuff like that. They needed four-wheel drive in those areas. So when they started bringing these over to the U.S. market, they had four-wheel drive tractors, and so this is one of those. It's in pretty good shape. There's some work that needs to be done to it, but it it runs. The PTO works on it, and it came with a 4-foot flail mower, and that was so it was a package deal there, and that was really what kind of pushed me into doing this. So yeah, I went and looked at it, rode around on it, just kind of looked it over, and felt comfortable that I could find parts for it, right? I did some research first to make sure that I could order parts, and I did. So, and I can. So I can get parts for it, and yeah. So this is the tractor. But if you noticed at the beginning of the video, it looks like she might have peed on my garage floor over there. So that is definitely coming from the front axle. So we're gonna have to look at that. So that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna start over there. I guess it's the right side. I would call it the passenger side in a car, but it's no real passenger on this. So the right side axle, front axle. We'll take a look at that and try to figure out what we're dealing with. Let me tell you, I don't have any experience here. I'm way out of my league. I changing oil filters, air filters, working on some electronics. I did do something. It had little wiring harness. There's a wiring harness here that had some clips that were just destroyed. So these are Deutsch DT connectors. I'm not sure. I think they're called DT connectors, waterproof connectors, and I changed those out. So I can do things like that. That's not real difficult for me. The petcock had a leak. It needed a new O-ring. That's all it was. So I got the O-ring, changed that out. I've got a local Kubota dealer right down the road from me at the moment, low tractor, and man, they've been really helpful over there. And I tried. I've got O-ring kits, and I went through all of them and found some that sort of matched, but none that were they all still leaked. And so I got this one. It was only $1 or something from Kubota, and put that on there, and it worked perfect. In fact, if according to the book, this is sticking straight out. According to the book, it should be sticking back towards the driver. So somebody, I think, has done something with this at one time. But anyway, it was an easy fix. So yeah, let's get over there and start looking at that front axle. I'm gonna have to raise her up, put some jack stands under her, and get the wheel off. So we'll do that. All right, got my Daytonas, and got my Pittsburgh bottle jack. Man, I really want a like a quick jack. I just cannot bring myself to pay for it. I've wanted one for years. I just can't bring myself to pay for it. So I've got this bottle jack here that does its job. 12 ton. Should be all right for this. Let's get this jacked up. Oops. So these Daytona jacks, this is the 3 tons. These are pretty nice. I really like them. They come with these locking pins, but they slide out really easily. But they have a clip that goes in on the other side. So if you clip these in so they can't slide out, they're great. It kind of I don't know why they don't have one of those steel balls with the spring that helps lock it in. That I don't know why they don't do that. But anyway, but you know, you get them on sale all the time, and even if you can't get them on sale, they're still not a bad price. I really like them. So that's what we're going with. I've got some 6 tons in the back. So, now we're good. All right. Let's see. So let me grab my Nikos because they are actually really nice. And then, of course, I got to grab my Michael Pro Tools extendable cheater bar. Because if you don't have one of these, you're definitely not a Hank Hamilton fan. Let's pull this off. Now, I don't know if you can see that real well, but there's a bunch of oil down here. Gear oil. I hope gear oil's down there. First thing to notice, somebody's been here before because there's RTV all over it. Let's see. We have some grease here. So there's no, this is dry. And I don't know what to call that. So I know that there's going to be a shaft that goes through here, right? Or might not even be a shaft. That might be a bunch of gears that connect to a gear in here, and there's a shaft I think that goes this way. And just checking on that. All that is dry. So the leak is definitely right here. So if there are gears that go in here, there's got to be a seal, possibly an O-ring there. Clean some of this up. So there's grease here. Old grease. There's grease here. That's got to be oil, right? That's not grease that is got hot or something, right? Grease wouldn't do that. I don't know. I'm asking. Grease doesn't. The viscosity of grease, I guess, would be the correct question. Doesn't get like real oily, right? If it gets hot, because I just mowed with this earlier today, and it did great actually. Boy, it's a mess. Not a lot of play in that. So I'm thinking, you know, there's gear, bearing, uh, seal, and O-ring, or some combination of that in there. So what do I do here? Now that I'm cleaning this grease off, do I need to let it drip some more? I mean, I know that the rest of it is dry under here. I know that that's not where it's coming from, so it's got to be this area. But how do I even get this off? This plate has to come off here, I'm guessing. The one with all the RTV on it. So there's going to be fluid. There's a fill plug. There's a bolt. No, there's a bolt too. There's some bolts there. There's one back. Yeah, there's a drain right there. What's funny is I cleaned all this off. All right, I got it. And cleaned it. And when I bought it, I mean, I rode around on this. I didn't have any oil on my trailer. Nothing, you know. It's not until after I clean it that I start seeing a leak. So isn't that the way it goes? If I'd have left it dirty, I'd have never had a leak. There really could have, I guess, been some clob of something that was shoved up in there that was stopping it from leaking. If I could just go find that clob and put it back. Clob, is that a word? Clod of dirt, clod of something. Glob and clod. I think I got it now. Throw some degreaser down on that. That's gross. I really do want to see it leak, but maybe it doesn't leak too without, you know, the tire on it running. So how far do we want to go on this tractor? And I guess that I should explain a little bit more why I bought this over the lawnmower, over the zero turn or riding lawnmower. So like I said, I've never done, here, let's pull it up here and look at me. I think, yeah. So I've never done anything like this. Never anything mechanical within a vehicle. I think I've set a timing. I've set the timing on a vehicle once a long time ago. I've got one of my best friends from high school. His name is Kyle. He's got a brother, an older brother named Clay. And Clay and his boys, they used to do a couple different mud rides every year. Maybe 4th of July mud ride, Good Friday mud ride, Memorial Day, I can't remember when, but they'd all go out and, you know, take these trucks that they had built specifically for it and dump them off in some hole full of mud. And it was pretty cool. It was something pretty awesome to watch. And so one day I was over at Kyle's house, and Clay was working on one of his trucks. They were cooking they'd I think gone rabbit hunting earlier that day or something, and we had a big like stew going. I'm telling you, it was delicious, but I got so sick after eating that. It had a bunch of just kind of everything in it. And but Clay was over there working on his 70s, maybe mid late 70s model. And Clay handed me a wrench and had me start wrenching on some stuff, and it kind of stuck with me. I've loved it ever since. I've kept up with, I've watched a bunch of YouTube stuff on that. It drew me to a lot of the content that I watch today. One of my favorite channels is Farmcraft 101. Just the way that he buys stuff that most people probably shouldn't buy, but I mean, he's a content creator, right? So it's perfect, to take that and pull it apart and work on it. And if you can get the parts, you can get them. If you can't, hey, he pulls out his lathe and starts building parts from scratch or whatever. And so I really do love that stuff. And it all started back then with Clay in that truck, but I haven't done any of it. And that's one of the things, right? We've got a new farm. I've got a pretty large tractor. I've got some really big implements. I need to be able to take care of that stuff. The tractor's under warranty, so it'll get warranty work done and stuff whenever that is needed. But there's going to come a point where it's not under warranty, and I need to be able to know how to work on that stuff, have some experience with it. So that's what kind of ultimately settled in my mind. Hey, I'm going to go with this over like a zero turn or something, because this is something that that I can pull apart right here. I didn't even know when I bought this. I didn't know that this was an issue, but I'm okay with it. I'm not mad. This is fun for me. I'm kind of excited about doing this, and getting in here and doing work on it. And instead of just watching, John over at Farmcraft tear it apart and work on it, I'm going to get to do it myself. So anyway, that kind of went into that. And also, my sons, and that was plural. So I haven't made a video in a while, maybe a couple months actually. We just had our second child, our second son, and baby and mama are doing great. So I'm pretty excited about that. So I've got two boys now, and I come from an IT world. I know technology. I've done that all my life, and I feel like I'm good at it. So I want them to know that. This world is just getting more and more techie by the day. So I want them to know that stuff, but I want them to know this stuff too. I want them to grow up around this. And am I going to make my kids go to college? I'm not going to make them go. I'm going to give them the option to go. But I want them to see. So there's a few things that y'all probably don't know about me. I'm a amateur astrophotographer. I take deep sky images with telescopes, computerized telescopes, and stuff like that. I got into that late in life and learned that I love it. I love the science behind it. I'm a Christian, and I love looking at that stuff and thinking about how amazing my Creator is to create this, to design this, and put it in place. And I just absolutely love it. And I love the science behind it. I love understanding the birth of a star, the heat and the gravity and how it works together it gets hotter and it spins faster, and that makes it get hot, even hotter, and that makes it spin even faster. And then all of a sudden, you've got a nuclear reaction that happens, hopefully, and a new star is born. And I just love that stuff. And I want my kids to know that. I don't want them to wait till they're late in life to learn that. I want them to know that, and they will. They, you know, my youngest, or my not my youngest now, my oldest son is, you know, he's 6 years old, and he can tell you a lot more about planets and stars and the moon and things like that than most 6 year olds could. So I want them to be able to do that, and if they want to go further with that to college, by all means, I want them to do that. But I don't want them to think that they just have to go to college to have a good life or to enjoy life. That's not right, and that's what we've been. You know, I'm not trying to go down that road really, but that's what we've been like shoving down people's throats today, and that's not the truth. People come out of college with massive debt. My wife has a master's degree in education, and man, there's just so much student debt involved in that we're going to be paying forever. And you know, I've still got some student debt left, and I mean, you know, there's people that are coming out that are taking a massive pay cut because they're paying back the student debt, and I don't believe in someone else paying for their student debt. That, you know, that was my wife agreed to do that, and she's gonna pay for it, and you know, and I knew that when we got married, and I agreed to it, and we're gonna pay for that. I mean, but it's a big, you know, it's a big pay cut, because you're, you know, one day, I mean, it will be retired, hopefully, you know, pay this thing off. But anyway, but I want my kids to be able to go to college and go that route. If there's something there that really they need to go to college for, you know, if they get into astronomy and science and you know, want to work for NASA or someone one day, yeah, they're going to need to go to college for that. But man, what if they love turning wrenches? What if they love tractor? What if they love, you know, tractor work and growing things, you know, and they want to grow a garden? Hey, maybe they go to college for that. You know, maybe they get a degree in, you know, in farming, and learn how to, to help things grow, to make it grow in places where it usually doesn't grow, or, you know, they start, you know, they learn soil science and things like that. You know, I don't know, but whether they want to or not, I want them to be well-rounded in everything. So this is a great way to do that, right? Me and my son have already been going through this. We changed the oil together, the oil filter. You know, I've got this creeper we've laid under the tractor together, and we've gone through that. You know, I'm working on the mower back there to try to make it a little bit better. We're going through that, and so I want them to be well-rounded. And so that was kind of, I know it's a long discussion, but that's kind of the reason that I picked this over just a zero turn. Would I like a zero turn? Yes, I'd still love a zero turn, but I really think this is, you know, going with this, I could only buy one, and this is what I bought. And you know, there was a reason to the madness there. Is that how you say that? I don't know, but anyway, but yeah, so how far am I going to go in this? I want to use it as our mower at our house, but it's a hobby tractor, so I'm probably going to put more money into it than I need to. You know, more money and more time. Clayman says, you know, people usually either have money or they have time. They have money, they can throw at something and get it fixed really quickly, or they have a lot of time and they can go the slow route but get it fixed. And I'm more in the time boat, definitely. So, but anyway, so yeah, that was the reason that we bought this, and so we're going to have things like this to work on, and definitely we have something right now to work on. So, there's a couple things I want to look at right now. Since I've got it up on these jack stands, I'm going to raise the back of it up on jack stands, and get all four tires off the ground, and I'm going to watch the dual traction, the four-wheel drive, actually working on this. Because, you know, I mean, it says it's dual traction, but I don't even know if that works or not. I really had no way to prove that or disprove it. Maybe someone can leave in the comments how you do that, you know, without putting it up on all four up on jack stands or something to see them all running. So anyway, I'm gonna get that jacked up, watch this run. Maybe that'll get this to leak some more. I don't know. And then once I'm done with that, we'll drain this, and then we'll pull this out, and see if we can figure out why this is leaking. If it's leaking, so this is the way that I'm thinking. There could be a couple seals in here. I don't know, because there's a chamber here, right? That has oil in it that this piece is going to fit into, and there's going to be some type of seal. This has to move freely, so there's going to be some type of seal right here. Seal and O-ring, seal and, I don't know, wiper ring for a cylinder. I don't know what's in there. I'll have to look. We'll pull out the diagram and look and figure out what parts we might need to order for this. But we'll go in there and see if we can see what's going on with this there. And then, so I'm thinking either something right here, I think, is probably bad. But when we're in there, we'll be able to look at the bearings that are inside here, the actual gears, and see if the teeth on the gears are good, things like that. And we'll be able to check that out. I'm only going to do this one right now, as long as that one's not leaking over there. I'm not going to do that yet, but we'll learn from this, and then hopefully we'll be able to do that even quicker over there. So anyway, so let me get the rest of this jacked up. I'm going to turn you off. Maybe I'll turn you back on here in a minute, and maybe I'll turn the camera back on here in a minute and let you see all four wheels spinning or not spinning. But I want to look at that real quick. So yeah, so I'll see y'all here in a little bit. What I'd like to do now is I'd like to show y'all what I do to go and find parts for my Kubota and really get a good sense of how it's supposed to fit together. Kubota's done a really cool thing here by creating a system that allows you to go in and pretty much search any of their equipment, at least in the tractor world. I don't know anything else, excavators or skid steers or any other equipment. I'm not sure about that, but in the tractor world, you can go in and you can look up tractors and loaders and backhoes and things like that. So they've got a really cool system for that, and they call it Kubota-Pad. Some people refer to it as K-Pad. Just depends on who you're talking to. But I was in a forum asking questions, and somebody suggested that I look through this. And when I originally went to find it, it asks for a username and password, which of course I don't have. But I did a little bit of searching online and came across a way to log in without using a username and password. You just go through kind of a terms and service agreement, and then it lets you in. So that's what I'm going to do here. That's what I'm going to show you. And I will put that link to where I'm going to get into Kubota-Pad in the description of this video, so you can easily find that. So here we are on a browser on my computer, and I'm going to jump up here to bookmarks, and I've got it in tractor stuff and Kubota-Pad. And so what we'll do is it comes to this page, and this is their terms and conditions, and you have to accept this. So once you accept it, you can go in, and it comes to this window here where you can search whatever you're looking for. You can do starts with, you can do a wild card, or ends with. You can search by model name, or you can search by description, or even if you have a part number, you can search by that part number. So I'm going to go to model name. I'm going to do L185DT. And hit search, and it comes up here. Now I can, over here on the side, I can select parts, and we are working on the front axle. So I'm going to just click, so I can expand this, but I might not know which one of these to go to. So before I expand it, I can actually just click on it, and it'll show me this window here with all kind of different diagrams. And so I can go through here and look here for what I'm trying to find. And you can see here the front wheel. Here, I'll zoom in. You can see the here's the part that we're actually working with. And let's go into that. So this is pretty cool. So we can zoom in on this, and I'm gonna drop. I believe I can do that. Yeah, so I can make this a little larger. So this is the piece right here. So if I click on this, this is pretty cool. So see, I clicked on it, it highlighted, and it shows me this is the axle. So I can come in and click on this, and then I can click on each one of these parts. 21 now, so it highlighted 21 down here. There's a ball bearing. 23 is a thrust collar. And then 27 is a collar or a circle clip. I guess maybe a combination of both there. So you've got these pieces that you can come in, and here you also see that it's giving me the part number. So what's cool is I can select, let's just say I need this ball bearing. So go to 21. I can click over here, and if you see that it added it into this basket over here. And so let's say I need, let's go to 23. Let's say that I need a few of these things. Let's say that I need all of this. So now you see that it's over here in this basket, and I can actually click on the basket. I can come in here, I can put my, if I want to, I can put my name. I can put my contact information. I can put my serial number of my tractor, of my Kubota here. And then it'll populate all that. Let's just say, I don't know, L185, did I do that right? Yeah, 185 dash, I don't know, this is kind of a 1445, I don't know, something 5. I think this is kind of the way the model numbers go on these. So let's just say that I did that right now. So what I could do is I could create a PDF of this, save it, and actually take this to my dealer or email my dealer this, which I do all the time. I will just, one of the guys up there, I'll email him and send this, and he has exactly what I want with all the part numbers, everything I'm looking for. I'm only doing one side of the tractor right now also, right? So I can come in here and I can change the quantity. This is showing me how many, when I first selected it, shows me how many the entire tractor uses. So that would be both sides, right? But I'm only working on one side, so I can come in and change the quantity. So I know I'm just splitting these in half, right? Because I'm only doing one side. So now I would have the correct quantity that I'm looking for, print it off, send it out, or take it with me to the dealer to hand to them. And so, I mean, it's really, this is really great. I absolutely love this. Let's just see what it looks like when you print it off. And this is what you get. So you would get this, and it's, I mean, that's pretty cool. It would have your, contact information for them, and they can order it and then give you a call, whenever, or email, whatever you want to put in there for the contact. And they can, notify you whenever it gets in, right, when the parts come in. Sometimes they have these parts, especially if it's a newer tractor, they're going to have a lot more parts in-house, but sometimes they have to order them from another warehouse. If they're older, they're less likely to work on that. They're not, I don't think they're going to keep those stocked, right? because whenever they order parts in, I'm pretty sure they're purchasing them, right? They have to pay Kubota for those, and so they would just sit there in their warehouse, and they're okay with doing that with things that are that are regularly sought after. But on an old model that you wouldn't see that often, there might be a warehouse that they have to order these to. So I'm in East Texas. They have to order these from. I'm in East Texas, and we have one that's really close over in Dallas. So they'll order them in Dallas, and usually those come in a day if I get the order in early enough that day. Usually they'll come in the next day. There's also, I believe, a warehouse in Kansas City that they can get them from, and that will probably take a couple days. But the key to this is that I don't pay shipping when I do it this way. So my dealer is right down the road from me. If I order it from some of these online places, you'll notice that the shipping for them is pretty expensive. You'll order $10 worth of seals and and O-rings, and the shipping cost will be another 12 or 13 bucks. So the shipping is more than the parts cost. Well, this way, by going through my dealer, they don't charge me the shipping cost on this. And also, when you order them online, so Kubota has a part, right? They or a price for their parts that they charge for, and that's what the dealers ships, or even the online places that are selling these to you. They pay Kubota those prices, but then they mark them up because they need to make money on this, right? I mean, if they're not making money selling these things, then they would go out of business. So they will mark them up, and my dealer, there's a pretty popular online website, or they have a storefront, but they have a website that you can order all your parts from that's pretty popular. Well, their prices and my dealer's prices are extremely close together. They might not be exactly the same, but they're within some change, 25 cents or something, $1, a difference. It's not a huge difference. So I'm not saving any money by ordering from them. They're not undercutting my dealer, and then the shipping equals out, right? The shipping cost, that added cost. They're not doing that. They're still charging me what my dealer would charge me, but then also charging me shipping on top of that. So my dealer, I go through them, get the pretty much the same price, and then no shipping cost. So I get to save a little bit of money there. And plus, it's just good having a relationship with your dealer. This tractor, I've ordered a ROPS for it, and it was kind of difficult to figure out. They have Kubota has a ROPS program for older tractors that weren't necessarily sold with ROPS. It might have been an option back then, but they didn't just come with them. And they have a program because they want people that are still using these tractors to be safe with them. So they have this program where you can get ROPS for older tractors. They will still manufacture them straight from Kubota, come from Japan, and it'll be a brand new ROPS. Well, I found out about this, and I went to my dealer, the closest dealer here, and started working with them, and they took the time to figure this out. They didn't know anything about it really. It was kind of new to them, and they went through it. They contacted Kubota for me. We talked about it, and they figured out how to do it and ordered it. And they just took the time to do this with me. They didn't. So I got a ROPS. I actually have a ROPS for this tractor, brand new. It's the newest thing on this tractor. It'll be the best thing. The ROPS will be the best looking thing on this tractor when it gets done. And they didn't even charge me. My dealer didn't charge me a cost on top of it. I talked to a couple other places, and they were like, "Yeah, we have to charge a little bit." It wasn't much, but they had to charge a little bit. Well, Kubota had the MSRP for the ROPS, and then my dealer, I worked with a guy named Jay at Lowe Tractor in Tyler, Texas, and he was like, this is a safety issue. We're not going to charge you anything for it. Let's since it's a safety issue, let's just make the tractor safe for you and your son, because we had talked about that. This was for me and my kids to use. He said, let's just make this tractor safe for y'all to use. So they didn't charge me anything for it. They were able to get it and have it shipped there, and I went and picked it up, and it was like, it was not, it was a few $100, and normally that would be like $1,000. But my point is it's good to build a relationship with the local dealer more than online ordering. I know online ordering, sometimes you can save money, sometimes you can save a good chunk. I get that. But having that relationship, right? I've been going in here and buying parts for them, and I know them now. When I walk in, they know my name, and I just have a really good relationship with them, and they actually, doing that, they took that time to do something for me that maybe, I don't know, that everyone would do for you, right? If you're not their customer, if you don't regularly work for them, I don't know that everyone would do that. But building that relationship with them, they did, and they really helped me out and took care of me on that. And so, I will always use them now. I will, I would drive past other dealerships to use them because of that. I will tell people, go use Lowe Tractor in Tyler. They are great to work with. I will give names of, the service guys that I work with, and the parts guys that I work with, and the salesmen, things like that. I will tell people, go talk to them because of that relationship, and because they it's just great having that. So anyway, so you can just send this over to them, and this little this printout, once you get it, it's a PDF. Now here you can send this PDF, email it, or you could print it out and take it with you and hand it to them, and then they can order these for you. All right, so let's close that, and we'll go back to what we were looking at. So we know this front wheel section. We know we're looking at that, but I wanted to go back one more before we get into that, because there are a couple of other diagrams. I know at least one that shows more of this, because remember, when we're working on this part, right? We're working on this axle, but to get in here, see, there's a, what did it call it? It called it a circle clip, right? So this is one of those clips that you have, you have a special pair of pliers that go into the holes on the clip and either spread them open or compress them closed, depending on which way you need to, if you need to go around something or if you need it to fit inside something, right? And so right there, seeing that, we know that there is a circle clip on the back of this. It's going to connect to this axle shaft here. So the only way to pull that shaft out and work on it or look at it, we're going to have to open this up, this piece here on the final drive case, right? So so knowing that, we'll go to the diagram for it, which I was just looking at, and this is that one. And we see here, we open this up, what is this? 18 is, there's a big O-ring here, all right? So there's an O-ring we need to be looking at, and there is a, there's a seal, an oil seal here that we need to be looking at. So we need to be thinking about these things, right? These parts for this tractor. So just because we're working, we're mainly working on this area, doesn't mean that there might not be other parts in here. So if we go back in here, we know that we need to check on the axle shaft, right? We just need to make sure that that it looks good, that the teeth on it aren't chewed up, that where where that circle clip connects to, that's not marred up anything, right? That actually works and fits tight. We're gonna want to look at the bearings in there to see that if we need to order these. Let's see, what is 22 here is another ball bearing. So here there's a couple of bearings going through. So this shaft, right, goes through this plate. This is the bevel gear. So it's going to go through all of this, and there are a couple different ball bearings that we need to look at and make sure that they're okay. But also one of the things is this is showing you the order that these pieces go together, which is really helpful. I'm going to take pictures, right? Hopefully I'm videoing it, so you'll be able to see it when I video it. But I'm going to take pictures also, so I can go back and try to put it back the same way that the pictures have it. But remember, we know that someone has already been in here, right? We know that there's RTV on that. So did they put it back together right? We don't know that. So this is a good thing to have to reference to make sure that everything went back together right. So this is Kubota-Pad. It's great. It is so helpful for someone that's working on their Kubota tractor. I absolutely wish that everyone had something like this. Maybe a couple other manufacturers do. I don't know, but maybe they do, and they only allow dealers, right, service departments to access it. But here, Kubota is allowing customers like me to access this, which I appreciate very much, right? So anyway, great tool, great help for us out there. So let's get back out there, open it up, and see what we're working with in there, and check on everything, and see what looks like might need to be replaced, and see if we can figure out, if maybe we can see ourselves why we're actually, why this thing is actually peeing on my garage floor. All right. It's the next day. I went and I liked that. Here, let's aim this down. Maybe you can see a little bit. I like that someone used RTV on this. I'm going to use it again, but I was out. I had a brand new tube of it, and the last time I used it, instead of coming out the top, the tube itself exploded. So I got one use out of that, and had to go get some more. So I've got some RTV here. I'm going to pull this drain plug out. It's down here. Let's see if you can see this. There's a drain plug right back here behind this. You can see my finger in it. So I'm going to drain that. Hopefully that's going to get most of the stuff out of this and down here. I'm not going to take, you got a knuckle right here, and this is your knuckle support. So I'm not going to take that off. I don't want to take this whole thing off if this is the only thing that's leaking. So I'm going to just try to take this piece off and pull that out, fix the shaft that's on the axle, or the seal that is on that, and then put it back in without taking the rest of it apart. Unless I get in there and it just looks really, really awful. So anyway, so let's get this drained, and then we'll pull that out. All right, we got a 17 millimeter right here. Doesn't smell bad. Doesn't look bad either. And the good thing is that's oil. That's not water. The bad thing is it's gear oil. Takes forever to drain. But hey, we're starting off good. So I bought a bunch of these, or I bought 4 of them from that Kubota dealership. I went ahead and going to use theirs. It was cheap. It was wasn't even $8 for one of these, and it was $9.99 for an off name at O'Reilly's down the road. So I just went ahead and bought the Kubota stuff. So you ask me, how do I know this stuff? And I've never done this before. YouTube. So, and I also, from Watch Wes work, know that if you see RTV on something, someone's been here before. Grab my assistant here. Ah, there it is. Look at that. Thanks, Wes. And John. Look at that. Look at that. Man, that came out pretty good. This is the inside of it with some RTV on it. Oh. Put that there for souvenir. There's your inside. There's a bearing right there. I guess that's the top of that shaft. The teeth look really good on the gears. I don't see anything missing there. Wow, man, that was nice. I thought oil was going to come out, but we got a good bit. And I mean, imagine some leaked out. That tire over there is turning while I'm doing this. And I'm just checking out the teeth in here. See if you can turn that a little and you can see that. I got it where the tire can't turn. There we go. I think I've been all the way around and I don't see anything wrong with any of the teeth on that. So that looks good. I guess the only bad thing about RTV is cleaning it off. And it is. They didn't just use a little. They did not just use a little. We've got a scraping tool over there I'll use for that. But let's take this axle and everything in there and we'll take it over to the bench and start pulling it apart. So we've got this gear plate sitting here, and it correlates to turning the actual axle. But then we've got an O-ring here, but this wasn't leaking, right? None of this is leaking. There's a seal. There's a shaft on this thing that goes through here. There's a seal in there, and it's weird because there's grease in there, and I don't think you're supposed to put grease in there. So we need to pull all of this off to get all of that off. So I don't have a tool to pull that off with other than some good old flathead screwdrivers. So let's see if we can persuade this thing to come up. Oh, there it is. That did it right there. Nice. I got lucky on that, folks. Oh. And the camera fell over from all the banging around. I'm sorry. So I just took this. I'm going to have to keep doing it. I put it on one side and you see that? Yeah, just hitting. It's hitting that. Yeah, please don't leave any hateful comments because of this. You can leave hateful comments, just don't make me feel bad about my bearing removal system. I'm trying to get it patented. Oh! Look at that. Look at that. Yeah, I think that's... I can't... My hands are so slippery. And that feels... It still feels good. There's no play in that. I didn't... There's some... I don't know, that's actually numbers. I thought I felt something, but it's numbers on the bottom. So it actually feels good around the edges. Okay. So I think that might be all right. Now, oh, look at that. There's that gear plate. Ooh, there's another ball bearing in there. That's great. Let's see. Placing these somewhere where they don't get extra dirty and get other things dirty is going to be a challenge. Okay. That ring came out. These are in between it. So it looks like that was holding collar and collar clips maybe. There's another ring below that. I think that's the ball bearing right there. Oh, look at that. And that ball bearing, look at all that grease. Can you see that grease that's in there? I don't think that there's no way to grease it. Like you had to do that. I don't know how you, I mean, I guess you could sit back there with your finger and do that. All right, let's get this cleaned up. Ball bearing just came out. Since that's out, oh, that feels good too. So 2 good ball bearings. Let's see this. All right. Oh, that's gross. Inside here is a seal. And I can't tell if it's messed up I don't think it's messed up. Well, I mean, I don't know if it is, but it looks like, see, there's grease all in it. I wonder if the grease causes this. Got between. There's something here too. I think this actually is the other half of that seal. I think that seal has two pieces. Man, this is horrible. And it don't look like dirty grease. It looks new. I wonder if the guy that sold it to me is hiding something. So when I was looking at this originally, you can't see this because it's you know, up against the, so the wheel, right, is here, and this is shoved up in there, and this is up against that. I mean, I guess you could, depending on the kind of tube or something, I guess you could get grease down in there from the outside. Whoa, that's a mess. And I'm out of my normal tubbo towels. I think I got those at Harbor Freight. Now I'm out of them. All right, so I think that this is the second part of that seal. I think that goes inside this piece. I wonder if I can knock that out. I don't have a big enough socket to do this. This is my largest, 1 1/4. Ooh, is there some movement there? Ah. I'm not really worried about messing this up because I think the seal is already messed up. Well, I'm not sure though. I mean, it could just be grease all over it. Well, there's a cool looking spring thing in there. Not a spring sting, but a spring thing. I don't know if you can see that in there or not. There's definitely metal in that. And so, let's see. When I was hitting on that, that was up. So, it would go down like that, because that would flip around. See, I think that goes in there like that. I think that's the seal. I think that's the way it seals. So, okay. Man, you know, it's a, what is that, $45 seal, $48 seal? What if the grease was doing that and causing all of this? But I mean, I can't take the chance, right? I can't put all this back together and hope that that's what it was. This is nasty. I mean, I love me some grease on my tractor, but I don't like it on my hands. Okay. So I think I need to get that off. still think that, I mean, it's just everywhere. I got grease. That's how I say it. I got grease. Grease everywhere, man. I got grease everywhere, man. It's probably in my hair, man. I got grease everywhere. Alright, so that looks good. The inside there is definitely not. Yeah. Gosh. Right, so that looks good. This is what we got to do now. I don't know the best way to do this. Yeah. Oh, well, that's the best way to do it. Look at that. All right, sorry, lost you. Battery died. All right, so we got these going up with this going up, but I'm running out of leverage. Maybe I won't need much. There it is. Look at that. I'm telling you, I don't think that's supposed to be there. All right, so you can see this. This, I think, goes like that. And that's what seals. And it feels good too. Like, there's no play in that. Man, if that bearing wasn't so difficult to get off, I'd put this in and do it. And then if it leaked, change it. I'm gonna have to think about this. All right, I'm gonna go get me some food. Now that we got it completely torn down, we can see the parts. I'd love to put it in my ultrasonic cleaner, but that ain't working. But let me think on this. So I'm gonna go get me something to eat, think on this, and then we'll figure out what we need to do. Man, that feels good. All right. I took this in. I did what any good non-professional would do, and I went into the kitchen while my wife was finishing cooking dinner, and I washed this in the kitchen sink with some Dawn dishwashing liquid. And I mean, this thing is there's just no issues with it. There's no tears. I mean, it almost looks brand new. And the way that grease looked, it almost looked like this was replaced, and then the grease was added, and that this would be working if there wasn't grease in the mix. I mean, it's in perfect shape. It's in perfect shape. The shaft looks good. Okay. So I think I'm going to reuse this thing right now. If I have to take it apart, I thought about it, and it really didn't take me that long to pull that off. So I think I'm going to use this again. Oh, man, this camera, this is driving me nuts. How long have you been sitting there? All right, here's the deal. My battery died again, and my tripod just fell apart on me. So, all right, we're going to try to make this work. So I've got that on. I've got this seal in and slipped it on. It feels good on there. I put the ball bearing in. So now we've got to put these back together and hope everything lines up, and I think it does. So that piece was sitting there. It raised these little clips up, and they fit. Man, they fit perfect in there. So I think everything's where it's supposed to be. I'm guessing that. Yep, that goes around those and locks those in. And then this sat on top of there, and then this ball bearing. Let me put the numbers up. Was there on top, and I've got a rubber mallet, so that's what I was afraid of. Just do that. So here, let me hammer this in, and then I'll. There we go. All right. There we go. Can you see this? So I got that back on. I've got no pieces left over. It's spinning. So you put the O-ring. Looks like there's a little RTV in there. Got that out. Make sure. Nope, there's a little bit more right over here. Yeah. All right, that looks good. So I'm going to put this back on, and we'll see what it does. All right, so I got all the RTV off. I went ahead and did that. I didn't think y'all really wanted to watch me do that. I just used a little blade that I have here, scraper. So I've got that off. Now I've got my own, and I want to put some on here. All right, I think I have it all the way around. So let me grab it and let's line it up. perfect on there though. Might have done it. Let's see if these screws line up. Kind of sort of, I think that could go down. Oh yeah, there we go. I think that might have done it. All right, we're back on. I'm gonna fill this with gear oil before I put the wheel back on, because that'll be the easiest way. And then we'll see. I'll come back with the video in a minute when I get all that done. All right. So here she is, back together. And this is actually a few days later, and I've actually driven around on her. And no issues. She's not leaking anymore. She looks good. I'm really happy with this. The only thing I could think is that it really was the grease that was added in there. Maybe if that hadn't been put in. So, you know, my thought process is that maybe that was done, that work was done recently, and they thought packing grease in would help keep dirt or something out of it and keep it from happening again. Or maybe they didn't think that they actually fixed the issue and they were hoping that they would hide it. I don't know, but all of those parts were like the bearings were super smooth, and the seal was, you know, it's two pieces, and they fit great together. You know, they fit great around the axle shaft. So I don't know, but I mean, I'm using it, riding on it pretty, you know, not being gentle with it, and it is no more leaks. So you know, maybe that's it. We'll have to see. I guess if I do have another leak or issue, then, you know, we'll come back and make a part 2 of this. So, but I really had a bunch of fun doing this and learning this. I'm like I said earlier on in the video, you know, I this is the stuff I want to do with this tractor, and really learn what that looks like, and learn what these parts look like and how they work. You know, I'm a kinesthetic learner, so I learn by doing. I actually putting hands on something and getting experience with it that way. That's really how it clicks in with me. And so yeah, I'm really excited that we've got this tractor now and that I can do that with this. So yeah, well, I know this video was long. You know, I try to edit it down, but I know it's a long video, and I really appreciate you for sticking with me and watching you. And so, you know, I hopefully, you know, I'll see y'all on the next one. Good Lord willing. All right, y'all have a good one.